So welcome ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to today's video, and I've decided it's time to rank some players. That's right, we're going to be diving into Manchester United in this video. What with me supporting them, I've watched them all season. Well, you know, the first part of the season, and we had a little break because of you know what, and then we got back to it. But I've watched them all season, so I'm going to give you my thoughts. Should their ratings go up? Should they go down? I'm going to be very honest, very blunt, because I love the side, but I'll be honest about it. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Okay, so make sure you let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Let's start talking about the goalkeepers with David De Gea, Romero, and Grant. Now, Grant didn't play a whole lot, so we're going to forget about him. It's going to be the same stats anyway. But Mr. David De Gea, an interesting one to start off with, isn't it? Because he had a couple of mares, and as a goalkeeper, as a world-class goalie, I can understand the odd one. Okay, even two. But when you start having more than that, for a goalkeeper who's meant to be one of the best in the business, you've got to look at his stats respectively. And honestly, I think De Gea's going to have to drop down a couple. I personally would put him down now to an 88. Maybe even an 87. Might be a little bit harsh, but you've got to be realistic. I mean, some of these stats are obviously very boosted high. This is my club when he's on his standard level. I mean, he can go up to a 93. But I think some of these stats are going to have to drop off slightly for De Gea. Hate to do it, I really do, mate, because you're a class goalie and you've been great. His reflexes are phenomenal, but he switches off a lot of the times, and that has caused me to have to do this. So I would say De Gea's down to an 87, 88 maybe. Let me know your thoughts on that one below. I'm not saying he's not a good goalie, but, you know, whatever happened, and unfortunately he did make quite a lot of mistakes this season. Now, Romero, unfortunately, the guy doesn't get enough credit, does he? Because he doesn't play enough. And Solskjaer, personally, for me, I would have dropped De Gea. I would have put Romero in goal. You know, him on my club can go from a 79 up to an 85. And, I mean, I would probably rate Romero. I'd definitely put him higher than a 79 now. I would even rank him up to about an 84. An 84, an 83... I think he's a solid goalkeeper and a very good number two, if not one of the best around. So, definitely Romero needs to go up. That's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts below. Alright, now let's look at the left backs. Obviously, we had Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams. Those are basically Manchester United's two left backs for the season. And Luke Shaw sitting on an 80. Now, the biggest problem with Luke Shaw is he's so injury prone. It makes it difficult because the guy gets some form going, starts playing well. They do play better when he's in the lineup because he's a very good attacking-minded fullback. He will get forward, he'll whip some balls in. They miss that when he's not there. The problem is his injuries. An 80, I don't know with the Luke Shaw. If he stayed fit, I would whack him up to maybe an 83 or so. But it is the injuriness that has caused him to never really get any kind of consistency going. So if he stayed fit throughout the whole of the season, yes, I would rank him higher. I would put him up from an 80 up to about an 83, even an 84. He can go up to a 90, by the way, which is pretty exceptional. But yeah, I definitely boost Luke Shaw up because when he's playing for Manchester United, they have that little bit of extra oomph coming forward. Now, Brandon Williams, this guy, he's impressed me. A lot of people said, you know, is he going to be good? Look, he's 19. Okay, give the guy a break. He's still learning the game at playing at a very, very high level. Now, he's a 73. And, you know, the fact that he's right-footed, but he plays on the left-hand side, gives him that little bit of an extra edge, but I would definitely rank him up. I mean, he can go up to an 88 when you max him out. Well, that's pretty tasty. I don't think, I mean, a 73, as I say, I don't think, he's not probably an 80 yet. I wouldn't. Maybe a 78, maybe a 77. I definitely get him up a good 5 points this year after the season he's had. Maybe even venturing into 80. Could happen, but maybe that's a little bit OP. But I would definitely say 77, 78 possibly. He had a solid season. Yeah, he made a few mishaps, but don't all players. But overall, for a 19-year-old, the guy's impressed me. So let's dive into the centre-backs now. So we've got Lindelof, Harry Maguire, and Eric Abay. Basically the three centre-backs that we played this season. There really isn't anyone else that I can see in here that's worthwhile. Bernard didn't play. Jones didn't really play. Tanzebi didn't really play either. Menji, I mean, he came on the last game. Taylor, no. So, yeah, those pretty much all the centre-backs we have. Now, Lindelof versus Harry. I mean, it's... I'm going to be honest with this one. Look, Lindelof, an 83. I would actually rank Lindelof about an 85. I would put him a little bit higher. I think he's the more consistent player out of him and Harry Maguire, as much as Harry Maguire played more matches. Lindelof has better speed. What is his speed compared? 81 to a 66. Yeah, that definitely sums it up. But yeah, I don't know. I think Lindelof, Lindelof here has an 84 aggression. That's on 85, by the way. Standard is 83. Harry Maguire has a 91 aggression. I don't think that's right. I don't think Harry Maguire's aggression's that high. I mean, a lot of the time, I've seen him just standing around not doing anything aggressive, but to each his own. But yeah, Lindelof for me, I'd rank him up to about an 85. I thought his season was solid enough. Once again, yeah, he had some mishaps, but very few. And overall, he was extremely solid. So I would say give him a bit of a boost next year. He's been solid overall. He's a worker. He's a very physical defender. And yeah, props to him. So moving on now to Mr. Harry Maguire, who is an 86, and he can possibly go up to a 92, which I think is madness. I don't even think Harry Maguire is probably going to get a boost. Look, don't get me wrong, okay? He played every single game this season. But when I watch him play, I get annoyed because it's like watching a tank half the time. One thing I will say about Harry Maguire is he's a better player at playing the ball out. When it comes to someone like Smalling or Phil Jones, Harry Maguire is a better passer of the ball. I've seen him pull off some great switches. Switch the ball to the left flank, the right flank. He plays some lovely balls. Biggest concern with him is the speed of him. He's got absolutely none. Like I said, it's like a tank at times. I don't think his aggression is a 91. His ball winning, maybe an high 80s defensive prowess. Yes, okay. I don't know. I mean, if you look at these stats, they don't even look that great. I mean, physically, yeah, he's strong. I think, honestly, one stat that can probably go down this year is his heading. I mean, the amount of chances he had in front of goal, and we're talking about heading finishing here, was terrible. I know this is just his general heading. So, I don't know. Harry's an interesting one for me because, as I say, he's too slow. But then again, he's a better passer, so I think sometimes he doesn't even feel like a defender. Feels like he should be playing as a DMF because his defending is not the best. So I definitely would say he's not going to get a boost. I wouldn't give him a boost, personally. And, when it comes to Lindelof and Harry Maguire, I'm digging Lindelof more than him. Now, when it comes to Eric Abay, he is an 80 here, and he can go up to an 89. The problem with him, very much like Luke Shaw, there's no consistency because he keeps getting injured. If he didn't get injured and he started playing for a couple of months, you'd probably see his stats boost up. I mean, you could probably whack him up to about an 83 maybe and say, all right, that's not too shabby. But the problem is, as I say, injury prone. Need to sort it out and once he does, his stats will increase. But it's hard to see him going anywhere. I don't see his stats going up more than 1 or 2 if they do, purely because of the injury problems. Okay, moving on now to the right backs. We've got Fosu Mensah, we've got Wan Bersaka and Dalot, but Dalot didn't really do a whole lot. Didn't really play at all, did he? So we're going to cancel him out, to be fair. Fosu Mensah played a little bit. I mean, I haven't really been impressed with him as well, which is a bit of a shame because I was expecting more from Fosu Mensah, but the matches I've seen him in, especially with his speed, I don't know, sometimes it seems like he's confused. He doesn't want to get the forward with the players, and yeah, he's probably not going to move much from a 73. I mean, you could probably put him up to about 75, as a respectable amount. If Brandon Williams is going to be, honestly though, if Brandon Williams is going to be a 77, 78, then, Fosu Mensah is not going to be any more than a 74. And if that's the case, then probably Williams could be higher. But yeah, a little bit disappointed with Fosu Mensah. Needs to improve more when he is playing. Now, let's move on to Wan Bersaka. Now, this guy I've been very impressed with. I think he's a solid right back. Still, at times, it gets a little bit carried away, but overall, when you're talking about an attacking, fullback, someone like Alexander-Arnold, Robertson from Liverpool, this is the kind of guy you want. He'll get the ball, he'll get forward, and he'll try and create. And he got a lot of assists, or a decent amount of assists this season. Not a lot, but he got a few. So yeah, definitely an 80. Yeah, let's whack him up. He's going to, I would say, you can put him up to a 90. But definitely Wan Bersaka for me, about an 85. I think he's justified a full season's worth of quality. And he has to probably have one of the bigger boosts out of this United team. His speed is phenomenal. His ball winning is very, very good. Crossing is getting better, something he can work on, but it's improved. But overall, yeah, absolutely. Wan Bersaka has to go up in my book. All right, so let's move on to the midfielders. So we're going to be looking at Matic, McTominay. We've got Fred, Pogba. We've got Mata, Bruno Fernandez, and Jesse Lingard to look at. So let's start off with Nemanja Matic, seeing as he is the DMF. And to be honest with you, he's been solid. I'm one of these that probably said he shouldn't be playing because he's getting too old. He's younger than me, so I can't say too much. He's 31, I'm 32. But Matic has been respectable. He certainly does help playing just in front of that back four that we have. And he just kind of works his way around and keeps the shape of the team. That's the main thing. He keeps the shape. The speed on the ball, I do get annoyed sometimes. He does take too long. He's an 84 here. You can, on my club, get him up to a 91. I would still give Matic a little boost. I'm not talking too much. Maybe an 85, an 86 max. Because I still think he had a solid season that justifies a little bit of an increase. But nothing too drastic. As I say, he's a good DMF. He sits in front of the back line, but sometimes he's just a little bit too slow on the ball. But definitely Matic, yeah, mate, we'll give you a little bit of a boost, just a fraction. Now, Scotty Mctotty, who unfortunately for him was it was a weird season, wasn't it? Because he was playing more and more and more when Pogba wasn't there, and obviously Fernandez hadn't arrived. And then once all that happened, it transitioned into him sitting on the bench a little bit more, which was a shame because McTominay he's improved a lot. I would definitely rank him up more. He's an 80 right now here, and he can go up to an 88. But I would put McTominay at around even like an 83, an 82. An 83, 82 probably would be my McTominay stats because he's come a long way. He really has. I'm not talking about drastically improving him up to an 85, an 87, but an 83, I think it's respectable for him. Now, Mr. Fred the Red, there he is. And once again, he was another one of these, wasn't he? He was playing better. And then the pause in the season that happened with the whole COVID thing, and then coming back in the lineup, and unfortunately Pogba was in there and Fernandez, so he didn't really get a chance to play. He's another one that I think minimal boost though. He's an 81. I'd probably give him an 82, 83 as well. Just to be nice, because he was playing well and then it just tapered off because of what happened. But he definitely wouldn't be less than an 81. He's got to be a couple of digits up there. But let me know your thoughts, of course, about all these players. Now, let's move into Mr. Paul Pogba. And Paul Pogba, he's sitting on an 88. You can whack him up there, full leveled out. He's a 93. I don't know. Paul Pogba's been a little bit off the boil lately, I do feel. I think that obviously playing game after game after game hasn't helped any of these players. But Paul Pogba, there still needs to be more from him. I think there is more in him. He just needs to find a way to be a little bit more consistent. I don't really think he's going to get a boost this year. Personally, for me, I don't think he has done enough. Obviously, he was injured for a while. So, if you're going to give him anything, you'd maybe say, all right, let's put him to, an 89 max. I wouldn't say he's getting any more of a boost than that. But I generally would probably keep him at an 88. 88. Do you agree? Let me know. Let's have a look at Mata. Just going to do Mata real quickly because he didn't play a whole lot this season, and I can't see his stats going anywhere. An 82. It may even go down, to be honest, because I think Mata's just getting at that point now. He is an AMF. He plays in that kind of just behind, obviously, the forward, tries to get the ball, tries to spray it about, but Mata needs playing time, and I really think they maybe should loan him out. Loan him out or just sell him at this point, get some money for him, but nothing against Mata. I think he's been a great player, but I can't see his stats moving any more than probably an 82. Now, Bruno Fernandez, this guy, I mean, you can say what you want. The guy wins penalties. Oh, he's just a penalty merchant. Well, who cares? He scores them, so what does it matter? If you're a penalty taker and you score your penalties, then job's done. But he came into this United side and he changed the team. He changed the team, he changed the emphasis, he made the players want to work more. We started winning games. Look, we finished third at the end of the day, which no one thought was possible, to be honest. Not with, obviously, we've had help from Leicester losing a lot of games in Chelsea, but still, Bruno Fernandez, you can go from an 85 up to a 92. But this guy's going to get a boost. I would be surprised if he doesn't go up to at least an 89, if not a 90 in PES 2021. Konami may be generous with him. I have a feeling, especially with him being Man United, licensed ambassadors and all this. Don't be surprised if you see Bruno as possibly a 90 rated next season. He's going to be a player to watch. So for me, he's definitely at least 3 or 4 higher than what he was. And yeah, we'll wait and see what he does produce. Now, Jesse Lingard, who's an 82 here. He goes up to a 90, which that's baffling, to be honest. And I know he's had a lot of problems this year. He spoke about having issues with his mum with depression and all that. And I fully understand it's not nice. But still, you got to rate him as a performance. He hasn't really played this season. He has scored the odd goal here and there, obviously recently as well. But I can't see his stats really moving, to be honest. I just can't. I don't think they should leave him as he is. I know United might be trying to offload the guy. But, yeah, I don't think you can justify putting his stats up anymore. So, Jesse, mate, you're probably going to stay about the same. If not, maybe decline 1. So, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to move on to sort of the wingers and the forwards. We also have a couple of midfielders that I forgot about. But, yeah, let's dive into Dan James. Now, this guy... He's so... I feel bad for Dan James, you know, because he had such a good start to the season. But I think it was the adrenaline pumping, and that's what got him going. And then ever since then, he's just been poor. I mean, and I feel bad about saying that, but every time I see Dan James play, you just don't think he knows what to do with the ball. And that's the biggest problem. So he's a 78. You know, he can go up to an 88. That's mental. But look at his acceleration. Insane. No doubt he's quick. So his speed isn't really going to change. The problem with Dan James is the vision isn't there. He's not quick enough. He lacks in dribbling. His finishing is lacking as well. And honestly, I probably put him down to like a 75. I know it's bad. It's bad. Because he's only a 78, but the start of the season, great. But as the season went on, Dan James, I'm sorry, mate, you just didn't cut it. So personally, for me, he's going to drop off a little bit because he's just not been good enough. What would you give him? Let me know in the comments below. Andres Pereira. I mean, he didn't play too much this season, but quickly do him because he's simple. He's probably going to stay about the same. If you compared him to Dan James, he's definitely a better dribbler on the ball. He's got more flair about him. Obviously, he's not as quick, though. He's a different player. He plays in the middle. But I'd probably rate him higher than Dan James statistically when it comes to the flair and the dribbling, minus the speed. So if Dan James is going to be a 75 this season, I'd say on PES 2021, then Pereira at a 77 is probably respectable. So there we go. Now let's move on now to Mr. Mason Greenwood. Now this guy, a 72 right here. He can go all the way up, by the way, to a 66 level, which is an 89. But there's no way that Greenwood is going to stay at a 72. There's no way. Not going to happen. The guy, his finishing, by the way, has to improve. His finishing should be up there in the mid-80s, if not higher. When you look at him compared to other players, this guy can finish. This guy can strike a ball. I mean, heading, fine. We don't really see too much of it. His dribbling is not bad. His ball control's been there. His acceleration and speed, I mean, I'd probably put his speed up a little bit as well. So definitely, yeah, he's got to go up to probably an 80 plus for PES 2021. He's probably going to have one of the biggest leaps in the game. That's what I feel. He has been so clinical in front of goal, and I've loved the sharpness of him and the way he's been playing. So if I don't see him up to an 80 plus, I'm going to be disappointed. but he definitely should be up there. Do you guys agree? Let me know. Moving on to Rigallo. Okay, Mr. Rigallo, who had some snippets, didn't he? Had some snippets when he played and scored a couple of goals. I don't think he's really going to move a whole lot from 77. We maybe put him up to a 78, 79. But on the whole, I don't think he's going to go too far because he didn't play a whole lot. So that's kind of what I would give him. Now, Marcus Rashford coming up to the two lads, Rashford and Martial, who are both, by the way, 83, but Rashford can go up to a 92. Martial can go up to a 92 as well. Oh, well, there you go. But who had the better season? Personally, for me, I have to say Martial. I think Martial has really shone this season. Rashford, definitely probably going to be higher. I'd still give him a good 87, 86 possibly. He's still young, he's still growing, and I'm not going to say, oh, Rashford should be a 92. No, he shouldn't be a 92. I mean, I'd probably say 87, 88 for him. Depends on how other players are. I mean, you look at someone like Robert Lewandowski, had an unreal season. He's probably going to be ranked as one of the highest centre forwards in the game. But Rashford, yeah, definitely should be going up from an 83, 86, 87, 88. But we will see. But he had a good season. It was all right. You know, he probably didn't score as many as he would have liked. His finishing has been a little bit iffy at times, but Rashford's certainly a player to watch. Now, Anthony Martial, yeah, as I say, very impressed with him this season. He's come a long way. His work ethic as a whole has improved that much. That's what's really impressed me about him, is you just see him and he wants to get the ball now. He wants to attack players and score goals and do what a centre forward wants to do. So if I was to give Rashford like an 87, you know, Martial up top, I'd probably give him an 87, 88. Don't think we can get an 88. If we gave him an 89, that's pretty good. But I think Martial is going to get a decent boost, at least 5 points. And yeah, definitely a player to watch next season as well, just because of his pace. His finishing has certainly improved. One thing I would like to probably see him improve more on is the likes of his heading, his ability to jump and win those balls in the air. I think, you know, as a player that, you know, you're a centre forward, you're in the box, try and work on that heading. But overall, very impressed with Martial this season. So there we have it, ladies and gents. That is all the players. Some of them aren't even worth worrying about, like Chong and this guy Gomez, not even going to be around anymore. So, but that's pretty much my rating. So let me know your thoughts below. If you'd like to maybe do any other teams, let me know. But what would you give the lads for Manchester United if you are a United fan? If you're not, and you just want to rate them, then rate them. But do you agree with me? Do you not? Let me know in the comments below. We shall return in the next video. Till next time, take care.